are now listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast.
All right, here we go, episode 12. What's going on, people? My name is Paul. I'm with the one and only Stu Fierce, and you are now listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast. Stu, what it do, baby?
Just getting through another day, man. Take it one day at a time.
It's Friday, buddy.
I know.
It's Friday.
And I guess for those who don't know, we usually do Wednesday. But we flipped the script a little bit, and it feels good.
It's like a celebration.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the end of the week, and you're like, you know what? Let's have a little beverage and talk some real shit.
Just nonsense garbage.
Just a bunch of nonsense.
No one wants them to hear about.
So speaking of garbage, so I spoke to a colleague of mine, and it's funny. We're approaching April, which is wild. The year is just flying by already. After April comes May, after May is June. So you're in that spring, summer. Mm-hmm. And so I got the question already, hey, Paul, do you camp? Are you going to be doing any camping this summer?
Right.
And it got me thinking, like, because there's actually only two ways you can camp, right? There's the real way. So you speak to folks that camp and they drive up north with the crew, right? They pack a bag. They have seeds and whiskey and, tools and devices. They start portaging. They put canoes on their back. It's like a thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's hardcore.
Yeah.
I guess that's real camping. And there's the camping that I do, which is like, let's drive an hour up north, basically to a parking lot in the woods.
Yeah.
And just eat and drink for 3 days.
It's the glamping.
Yeah, glamping.
Glamour camping. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have access to internet, I'm hopping on my Twitter at night. Yeah. And for the most part, I just wake up, I start eating, and then you're just looking at the clock and say, when can I crack this beer? When is it acceptable?
All right.
So do you camp?
I don't. I have. I'll be perfectly honest. I just in general am not really all that much of an outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
I had a cottage growing up, so I do know about that stuff, but I'm just a city guy in general, so like... Nah, I mean, it's to your point. Like, you drive all this way to this place where you're effectively just drinking and eating. And, maybe if there's a bunch of people around, you're getting some friend time in or whatever.
Sure.
But really, for the most part, you just wasted a day, 2 days drive, a day going up, a day going back to basically sit in your fucking living room and just get drunk and eat hot dogs. Like, I can do that just at home. Like, what the fuck is the point?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like I just picked up one of those heat lamps. You know those heat lamps that like you'll find at patios outdoor?
Yeah.
They just, you always have customers coming in. They're like, hey, can we sit outside? And you're like, fucking hell. All right. I mean, I worked as a server, so I had to do that in the past.
Yeah.
And they give out after a season anyways. But I bought one, man. I bought one so that people can come over and we can have a beer or have some food on our patio. And once you sit down around something like that, and like you said, you're having a sausage, you're basically camping.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, you're glamping just in your backyard.
Yeah. And I mean... if you've got a good enough view in the backyard, it's pretty much the same fucking thing.
Well, what's the view when you're glamping? It's the other tents around and then the cars parked in front of you, right? Because you kind of like try to block the other sites away so they don't see you by the cars, if you know what I'm saying. So you have a little bit of privacy. And
especially for us here, like in Ontario, right? It's not like if you're glamping or camping or what the fuck ever in British Columbia or in like the Pacific Northwest, where it's like the mountains are crazy and beautiful, and whatever it is, Lake Louise in Alberta or whatever, where you see this beautiful, like picturesque. For us, we're just like, oh, another fucking hill with pine trees and a bunch of drunken Canadians over there. Big fucking deal. I could do that in my backyard any day of the week.
In fact, if you want to come over this weekend, we could do some glamping in my backyard this weekend.
Done.
Okay. We don't have to pay $6.99 for wood, and there's not going to be a trash can with a big sign saying, hey, please no littering here.
Or you just like do the full on experience. Like you go and pay for all the shit that you would normally buy. So buy a ton of like hot dogs, buy a bunch of wood, and we'll just go into your backyard and chop it all up.
I'm down. Let's do it. Sunday.
Done.
You are now listening to the Fierce Kingz podcast.
So I had a bit of a rot. So I work from home, as you know. I guess like everybody. Who am I kidding? And my office is in the basement, right? And so my parents came over for dinner, so I went upstairs, and I came downstairs to check up on something. Water everywhere. Like, fuck. And I looked in the ceiling, and there's a huge hole in the ceiling. And so what happened was like a pipe burst, okay? And so like I'm looking right now, and there's just holes in my ceiling. And the plumber came 3 times, you know what I mean? And it just made me think, like, man, is the house an absolute burden over time? Just the maintenance to be a homeowner?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like I'm a relatively new homeowner myself. Got it the summer before like last. So like year and a half ago almost. And it's just like, there's always something. Like the second you get it, you're like, okay, well, we know we're putting in more into it right off the hip hop because we're like, we want to make it our own and we want to do this and we want to do this. And then pretty much what you do is you start in one room and then you go around the house. And by the time you get to that last room, the first room has to be redone. Yeah. And you just play this game until you die.
Yeah. There's people that are always working on their house. Have you noticed that? There's just always someone or some room or some addition being built. Like it doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do. I know exactly what you're saying because it's just that it's just a constant fucking battle, and especially considering the fact that being in a place like Canada or any North America or really any place that has sort of severe weather, that's big. Game over. Yeah, it's game over, right? Like my old man grew up in Australia, and like all of the stuff over there is just like paper shacks, basically. And I mean, some of them are beautiful, but it's like you're not worried about any of that stuff over there. And especially where he was from in Brisbane. Brisbane base is in Queensland, so it's super fucking hot, right? And it's like basically it's 363 days of 40-degree heat and then 2 days of like monsoon rain. so like a lot of these houses are on stilts.
Yeah.
Just so that, you know, the basement doesn't get flooded. But outside of that, like he told me he didn't wear shoes until he got to high school.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Now, granted, he was a bum, but it was also like,
He didn't have to.
There's
no flip-flops, sandals.
No, barefoot. Like it was just a regular, so it was a nice road. You don't have all this fucking bullshit, snow, sleet, slush, whatever.
So it was an episode of the Flintstones from age, 2 till 13.
Or 50, 67 or whatever.
He just started
70.
wearing shoes, and they're New Balance for sure.
Guaranteed.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think one of the perks of being homeless is not having to deal with plumbing or other things around the house? Like, do you think that there's a guy, there's a guy in the street, you go up to him, hey, pal, down on your luck? He's like, no, I just didn't want to have to deal with that bullshit that you do at the house.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great thing to poll homeless people and be like, you live rent-free. Sure. So that's fucking sick. There are also a lot of other challenges with being homeless. But if you like go up and you're like, so like, you seem like a regular guy. Like, why are you homeless or whatever? And he was just like, dude, I did home renos and I couldn't deal with it anymore. I just left the house. It's just boarded up now.
Yeah, 100%. I was so tired of redoing the roof every summer. I said, fuck this. I took my, 1.6 million and I hit the streets. Now, when you did the renos, was there someone in your family helping you with that?
Friends. So basically,
Friends.
it was
Friends and family. So yeah,
it was the friends and family kind of situation, and it by all said and done, looks fucking fantastic. But it gets dicey, right? Because you dance this like fine line of being like, when am I the homie, and when am I like your boss? And it's tricky. I mean, I think my wife ended up dealing with most of the stuff, but like, because I had a tough time with differentiating between like having to come in and like fucking swing with like strike with an iron fist, or come in with a fucking pizza and a 2-4.
I bet you there was a time where you were doing both at the same time too.
Well, that's actually the best way to kind of do it. You put the 2-4 down as you're presenting the pizza. You guys hungry? You punch them through the pizza with
what the
fucking.
Fuck?
Yeah.
Eat this pizza and get back to work. This is bullshit. Yeah. We did the same thing. So we did a reno at our place, and it looks fucking awesome, man. It looks really sick. You got to check it out. But this was like a family affair, and I started to think about it because there's a lot of friction, right? And it's usually because it's help, right? Once you start helping, someone wants to feel appreciated, or someone wants to ensure that they're helping enough. It's dicey, right? And especially if you're saving on money, for example, or money is not involved, right? You're like, well, I'm doing this for free, right? So it can get a little bit sensitive, dude. It does get a little bit sensitive. But I started thinking, I think it's the way to go, because I don't think the friends and family will ultimately let you down. There's horror stories of, people coming in to gut your house and like, all right, we'll be back in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
They're like, no, we got another job. Yeah, we're going to finish this up later. And then you have no control, you know what I mean, of what's happening here. Or people would just say, well, fuck you, I quit. And now you're like, well, I don't know I need someone to get in here. I'm bleeding money,
Yeah, because I was actually talking about this with one of our friends who was helping out in the house. And he said what a lot of people do in all departments, electricians, plumbers, just general contracting or whatever, they'll in effect just like go to the gig or the prospective client, and when they look around and say, oh, we want this done, we want that done, they want this done, they literally drop their bags and they're like, all right, we're on it. We'll be here soon. We'll give you a quote invoice soon, and we'll be back to get hammers and nails going. And then once you've put the bag down, it's your job. So because if other contractors are going to come in and they notice tools there, they're like, you already got someone? And then maybe the person will be like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. He left his shit here or whatever. But they'll be like, sorry, you I'm not touching this. So it's a kind of a way of claiming your space.
No, I hear that. How do you get on those fucking renovation shows? Because hook me up straight up. These folks are like, hey, my name is Roger. This is my wife, Emily. And we're getting a free house.
Well, you know what? Actually, I knew a guy. You might have known him too. I'm not sure. But he and his 2 brothers were on. I was one of those house hunters or whatever. And I remember someone said, yo, you got to check this out. And I checked it out. I watched the whole episode. It was really kind of fun. And especially when you kind of know the guy, you're always kind of giggling. And then I saw him one time, bar downtown or party or something. And I was like, yo, congrats on the crib. How's it going? And he was like, oh, none of that was real. We don't own anything.
What do you mean?
He didn't get a house at the end.
What is so they just paid him
so
to
all staged.
Just to be like an actor faking that this is my house?
Yeah, he ended up saying, yeah, my 2 brothers bought a condo at some point and I just fucking moved outside of the city, and that was, we were legitimately looking for a house, but we didn't get one. so I was like, that's that's so disheartening. You know what I mean? And we all know this shit. It's film and television.
Well, I know it's
all
staged, but
it's sort of staged to a degree. But you're not saying so you basically went to 3 strangers' houses, talked shit about them to make your decision, and then they land on the house that they like, and then they tell these people, here's whatever, $50 and fuck you. Like, and then you're like, so where's my house? They're like, are you fucking crazy? We're not buying you little pieces of shit a house.
Maybe though, it's a great way to start your acting career and get some of those, you know, get on IMDb, you know, the starter. Yeah. It's just like all those reality TV stars where like, I was on The Bachelor, I was on Temptation Island, you know, now I'm a model. Hit me up on my Insta. Maybe he's getting started in something else.
Yeah. I think that that's exactly it. I mean, a lot of those people, I think, I'm trying to remember her name, but I think there are several different like actresses that are like big now that started off. I think maybe it was like Kate Beckinsale or one of those things. I'm not trying to put any words in anybody's mouth, but you know those like old videos back in like the 90s that were like phone sex, and they're like, call tonight.
Call me on my telephone.
Call me on my telephone. We're available all the time. Cutest girls,
it was like this.
Hottest conversations.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah, pick up the phone. So one of these big A-list actresses started out doing that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because at the end of the day, they're just like, oh shit, you looked hot on camera. Anybody can fucking be an actor. Are you crazy?
Did you ever pick up the phone?
Me? No, because I'm cheap. But I mean, I'm sure a lot of people did. I actually, because I don't know if we've talked about this, and this is actually probably a good topic of conversation at one stage. I'm a cable guy. I watch cable. I don't watch streaming services. We even had a conversation earlier on about figuring out how Uber Eats works. I don't even have that. I'm not an app guy, right? Yeah. So I've noticed when I'm watching late night TV, it's I'm watching the West Coast hockey games or whatever because they're 3 hours behind. Yeah. Those commercials will come on, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Who in this day and age with basically a mobile pornography box in your pocket, you're gonna go do phone sex with some, I don't know, gremlin in Ottawa?
But you haven't tried it. And what if it's fucking insane?
Yeah, maybe.
But it's $6.99 a minute, so you got to save up.
Pick up the phone.
All right, I'm going to read you something. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to read you something. After I read it, it's like an anecdote or a quote. Okay. After I read it, I just want you to tell me, how does this relate to your life? Okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
Attitude, energy, and focus will bring results, which is what you can expect on the job or with any task that you set for yourself today. You're also prepared to stand alone and face whatever difficulties arise with your job, your health, or a pet. Hey, you got this. How does it make you feel?
It's positive.
Is there anything there that kind of relates to, because they said today a few times, are you feeling that way today?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice words or whatever, but it's so vague,
You're a Pisces, right?
I am.
Yeah, so that was your horoscope for today.
Okay. Okay, yeah. It definitely had that sort of sounded like it was from the back of a 24 or a Metro or whatever.
Yeah, it's a Subway newspaper for sure.
Yeah.
So I brought that up because I met someone and I think they were saying it jokingly, but I know that they kind of meant it. And so something happened and it caused them a little bit of stress, and they're like, you know what? Jupiter's in retrograde. And so I'm just going to take the afternoon off and really reflect, And it got me thinking, are people actually using horoscopes as excuses or
Big time.
or using horoscope to ultimately dictate their life?
Big time. For sure.
Someone's reading this and holy shit, I'm pumped. I got this.
Yeah. I guess I'm such a negative person, I guess, or something that I'm listening to that and I'm just No, I don't. Like, the way things have been going, I'm like, I don't have a grasp on fucking anything. Like, again, it's positive, it's nice to hear, but I never like look at those things and like think like, wow, that's my mantra. You know what I mean? I mean, I think we do have certain mantras, but not from that, because you could read out any of them and they will still apply to you. That's the beauty, because they're all, as I said, it's all vague. So you just say shit like that, like, you know, like that's like even that little bit at the end or in the middle when you threw in like, or your pet. It's like, I don't know, a fucking pet, but you use these kind of like terms. Someone could.
Yeah, and they're like, holy shit, I had to deal with my cat today, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna tell you a secret.
Okay.
That was not for a Pisces. That was for a Capricorn.
There you go.
And that's what we're talking about. So I could have read any one of them and it would fit in somehow to our lives. But it's crazy because, listen, first of all, I don't knock any of that stuff. I think it's actually kind of fun. Like if this is something that, you know, you read the paper and you're skimming through at the back, you're like, let's fucking check it out, what they got to say. And if it happens to hit your life, you know, something in your life, it might actually be kind of fun. But man, I bet you there's folks out there that are walking around the streets with a t-shirt on that says like, it's a Sagittarius thing. You know, you know what I mean? Sure. Like they got like, they're one with their sign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, I mean, I'm one of those guys who really, in effect, I mean, especially if it's like not hurting anybody or whatever, that you're like, do whatever, like even if it's a placebo, right? So if like whatever gets through, if that's what helps you get through this day is like reading a fucking horoscope, okay, big fucking deal, right? But at the end of, I think at the end of the day, if it becomes truly like your practice, well, that would be something that would probably get to me. Where it's like, realistically, if I went on a date with somebody and they were like fully, I mean, you never know. I mean, I'm fucking taken anyway, but it's just like, if I were to have gone on a date with somebody and they were just like, oh my God, my equilibrium's off because Mercury is in retrograde, Jupiter's in retrograde. They always seem to fucking go, what is retrograde?
Retrograde.
What is that anyway?
Stop retrograding and start fucking non-retrograding. Like
grading.
Start grading. Stop with the retro.
Or vintage grading. You know what I mean? What's this retro?
What's the future of retro? Yeah, whatever.
I don't even know what the hell that means, but it's like, I think that would probably pose an issue for me is if that was going to be like religion. Well, if it becomes religion, right? Like, I mean, I think that's one of those things like everybody is in this weird culture with the way that they look at that. And again, we won't get too deep into this because it could go on a spiraling turn. But just like, you know, whether it's Christianity, whether it's horoscopes, whether it's environmentalism, it's atheism, it's all a form of religion. It's this new belief system that consumes people, right? And it's like, it's good to believe in something, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I don't know, like you can't take it with you when you go in a way. So it's just like, keep doing your best that you can do that day in all aspects and just move forward. You know what I mean?
It could also fuck you up. What if you had the dopest day ever? You're just like, yeah, I seized the day. You know that fucking stupid saying? Seize the day. Seize every day.
Carpe diem, man. Carpe
diem,
YOLO.
baby. YOLO, carpe diem seizing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you read your horoscope at the end of the day and they're like, nah, man, today was a bad day. Don't worry about it. You'll be okay tomorrow. You're like, what the fuck? You're fucking with me.
Okay, well, that's actually a question. That's actually a question then. Are there such things as bad horoscopes?
I don't think they're bad, but they'll be like, I think I've read one where it's just like, be careful about the thing that's going to happen that's going to make you change your mind. And you're like, what's this going to be today, man?
But I mean,
I got that meeting with Stanley and John later, and you better not fuck up my day.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, it's more like, it's not like, you know, you don't read one and you're like, oh man, you know, got to check out the fucking Pisces or whatever. And they're like, you know, oh, today is not your day. You know, your mother's going to die. Your wife's going to cheat on you and your penis is going to shrink 3 inches. You're like, oh shit. Well, that really fucked me up.
So So now that would be a great horoscope if it came true. Because then you go home, there's a note. The wife's just like,
I'm out.
I took the kids. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You go to take a whiz. Your dick,
shrunken.
pretty much gone. And
Looks
then
like an acorn.
it looks like an acorn. So you're like, fuck, we're almost there. And what was the last piece?
Your mom died or something like that.
Yeah, even worse. She's not picking up the phone.
Well, because honestly, if that would happen, as much as all of those things would be absolutely probably the most devastating things that you could ever possibly imagine in your life, I would then probably change my tune on the whole thing and be like, damn, they were right.
Shout out to Retrograde. You know, you had something going on here. Now I do it, like when I read horoscopes, it's scary because it's almost like they're trying to like tell your future. And
what if they were horoscopes? So it just predicts all this negative fucking shit, right?
Yeah. If you want to have a good day, do not read today's horoscopes.
Yeah, because it's going to be a fucking awakening.
That'd be, you know what? We should go on Twitter. We should go on Twitter. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an @horoscope. Oh, wow. I bet you someone made a fucking killing on something like that.
Well, that's a huge missed opportunity if someone hasn't. Like I would probably say we should start a website that's called horoscopes.com, and it just daily, you just abuse each one of the signs. And that would, you'd make $1 million because everybody would treat it as one of those like ironic cultural phenomenons, right? Be like, hey, did you read your horoscope? Oh yeah, I was a Sagittarius and it told me I was going to get thrown off a building by a, wearing,
sure,
chaps.
Fuck. That'd be something. You know what I mean? That would be a horror. The horror. Now, if you know me, like I was talking about fortune tellers, future telling. I don't fucks with, I told you about ghosts.
Yeah.
The next one, psychics.
Same thing. So actually, sorry to interrupt, but just real quick. Yeah. My wife was big into that.
Oh no!
Just like, and she knows it's a joke too, but she just loves to kind of check it out. And I think that she believes that there's a little bit, and even my mom to an extent, and her mom as well, kind of have these like believe they kind of have premonitions and stuff.
Sure.
And so anytime we go to those things, those fairs, the exhibition at the CNE and stuff like that, they always have those stands. And she's like, "Yo, like I'm going, you coming?" And I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm gonna smoke a dart instead," because I'm like, even if I know it's horse shit, but even if it was true, I don't want to know.
Yeah, and if I could just, and we can finish off here, but check this out. Like my mom told me a story about, there was this, it's always the same thing, right? In a small town in your home country across the sea, across the ocean, Eastern Europe, there was the village psychic, right? And she told my mom, you're going to have a daughter, you're going to have a son, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, she's going to be like this, he's going to be like that. And like that stuck with me. Sometimes I think about it almost every day. I'm like, what did that sentence mean? You know what I mean? And it could have been all bullshit, right? Like
was any of it true?
No, because it's such a. It's not like a. Oh, he's going to be 6 feet tall. It's just like it's just like a blank.
He has a lot of potential.
It's like someone says, watch out. It's like someone telling you, oh, he's going to die by heart attack, right? And then you're living your life. You're like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't walk down the stairs so quickly because I might get that might be my heart attack. Right. You know what I mean? So I guess where I'm trying to go with this is enjoy the horoscopes, avoid the horror scope. Don't take it too seriously. Read it and just have a laugh, but stay the fuck away from psychics. All right, man, let's get into the would you rather. Hit it.
Would you rather? Would you rather?
All right, would you rather, buddy? I think I got a really interesting one. So I've been watching this show called Donovan. I don't know if you ever heard about it.
I did watch the first season of that many years ago, and it was... interesting.
It takes a little bit to get into. I'm at season 6 of 7, so I'm definitely deep, if you know what I'm saying. But as it sounds like, Donovan, Irish family, and they always make references to, Ireland and they're from Boston, and so they have like Boston accents, but they're always saying like Schlansky, or I don't even know how to say it, but it's like cheers for like the Irish folk and stuff like that.
Right, and
they're hard
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, and they're like hard motherfuckers, right? They have a background of like doing jail time, and so they're kind of like gangsters and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask you, would you rather be part of the Italian mafia or part of the Irish mob? And let's just call it at the same time when like maybe it's, what was it, 60s, 70s, 80s, when it was like really rampant.
Oof. That's actually a really good one.
Also, quick disclaimer before you get into it, not condoning any organized crime here. We're just having a laugh.
Well, I think what would really be the deciding factor, now granted I'm neither of those things, but if the potential was on the table, the deciding factor would be the culinary experience. Because realistically, like, let's get serious. You're about to get whacked and you have a nice bolognese spaghettini or a mushroom risotto. Like, you could die at peace.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you just finished that meal. You had maybe 1, 2, 3 cannolis. And they're saying, any last words? And you're like, pass me a napkin, fam. You know?
Salud. And then you get fucking whacked. And it's like, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, and I as I've said on the show before and a million times as well, like, I come from the British background, and the food is utilitarian. Yeah. It's meant for you to survive another day and get back into the fucking mine or whatever.
Yeah, eat your potatoes and get back to work.
It's not, it's eat your fucking potatoes and get back to work. And this might deviate slightly, but it's like, we don't have, so I grew up in a culture of that sort of UK culture, which pertains mostly to the Irish, obviously, section of this. Yeah. But we ate dinner at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and we had meat and 2 veg. And that was the extent of it. And it was oftentimes when we were younger, we'd sit at the table, but then it would be like, okay, go either TV or homework or hockey or whatever. Where a lot of these people, Europeans in particular, and I know even other, definitely like my wife, Middle Easterns and things like that, they like eat at like fucking 10 o'clock and they like stay there all night and they have like fucking digestives and aperitifs and all this sort of stuff. Ours was like, you get this shit in your fucking belly before your dad eats it. And get the hell out of my sight. Yeah, like, it wasn't for enjoyment. So it's like, I wonder, like, you'd have to, I don't know if they touch on this in the show, but it's like, what does he eat? What does Ray eat? Does it look like he's having a good meal?
He doesn't really eat. I'll tell you what he does. He has a fucking severe drinking problem. He's like, I think that's an Irishman. Every other scene, he's pouring 3 ounces of fucking whiskey and drinking it, and then pours another one and then gets in his Mercedes and goes and does like a hit on someone because he's kind of a gangster.
Because isn't it played by Lev Schreiber?
Yeah, he's fucking
sick.
A G.
He's a G.
He's a G-dom.
I like him.
Okay. Absolutely. Fuck, I could go for some Italian food right now. All right? Like, there's no 2 ways about it. We didn't even talk about pizza. Okay? We didn't even talk about pizza. But let's think about now, let's get into nitty and gritty, right? It's a family thing, right? It's always a family thing, but it gets a little bit greasy. You got to do some dirty work. There's 2 different things here, right? The Italians, at least from the movies I've seen, I haven't met anyone in the mob. You know, when they get revenge, they'll say something like, you know, I would look out for, unfortunate event to take place.
Right.
And it's kind of them saying like, I don't know, watch out for your kid. Or like, how's your kid?
Don't drive too fast.
Yeah. How's your kid's soccer lesson? I heard he's pretty good. It's like, how the fuck I have a son? And how do you know he plays soccer? And now everyone gets shook. Well, I think the Irish mob, they'll just straight up say, you do that again, I'm going to burn you and your family alive in the house tonight. And then they'll do it. And they'll just go do it.
Yeah, what's the I mean, protocol. You know what I mean? Like, because clearly the Italian mob, they're a lot more like, you know, we take care of this guy. You know what I mean? We take care of this guy until he, you know, does something stupid, and then we take him out, right? Yeah. Where it sounds like the Irish guys got that dry British humor. They're foreshadowing by being like, oh, nice, you know, Toyota Camry you have. What? And it blows up.
Yeah. Have a safe drive. You know what I was thinking? What if the leprechaun was just the Irish mob boss?
Could be. I mean, they probably mostly look like that. But like, what if, okay, so here's actually another thing. I mean, this kind of touches on it a little bit earlier. What if your mom was Italian and your old man was Irish, and they were both involved in the mafia, and they're like, son, you have to pick. Like, wouldn't you be like, wouldn't that split the family apart?
I think for sure.
Or if you're double dipping, like you're snitching on one and snitching on the other, like you're a mole for both, because they're like, yo, this guy's both. You know what I mean? Or like they're like, he's Italian, he can be in this one. Oh, he's Irish, he can be in this one.
You know, I think you'd get whacked. Sides. I think you would get whacked. And Guaranteed. I think both parents would say, we understand.
He deserves it.
Yeah, he was a snitch.
Yeah, you'd have a meeting with all of the crime syndicate, both Italian and Irish and everything. They sit down with the family and they said, we understand that your son is being a mole and he's been taken out. And they're like, oh.
Schlansky.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know that there, you know.
Yeah.
He's a rat. He's a rat bastard.
Yeah, and then you just hear like the tribe is spoken. It's just a leprechaun pounding on the table. It's like, all right, have a nice weekend.
Yeah. Oh, the tribe is spoken there. Here.
Yeah, here's some gold. Here's some gold for your travels.
But it would be like super like confusing though, right? Like if you were put in that position and they were like, you have to pick one because this is going to be your career, so to speak. Like, is it a career? I guess it is a career. For sure. Like, I mean, it's all sorts of crime.
You become a made man. You do you get rewarded for a job well done. Hey, did you take care of that thing? Yeah. Oh, good work. Here's your money. You're going to go places. If you keep doing this, you keep following this on, you're going to go places. There's a lot of eyes on you. The big boss wants to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, you're in too deep and you're fucking having bolognese. You're growing a gut.
Because do you think that there are like people that are like, I don't know, like had a 4.0 GPA, 1600 SATs, you know, full ride scholarship for lacrosse at Harvard, and then they're like, well, I could do that, or I could be a made man.
Yeah, or I can make this bread on the streets.
You know, honestly,
I bet you, because you've seen the movies, and this always happens in movies. There's a young kid in the hood, gets involved with the mob really early, you know, 8, 9, 10 years old, starts making a little bit of money, falls out of school, loves the camaraderie, the family, everyone's taking care of you and stuff like that. It's probably addictive, dude. It's probably incredible. Fuck, man. I might quit my job and hit the mob right now and just be like, make me feel wanted.
But I think that's what happens with any sort of crime organization, right? Whether it's the mafia, whether it's Russian, Italian.
Gangs,
MS-13, Bloods, Crips, you fucking name it. There can be socioeconomic situations there, but also it's just like, you know, whatever, like you're coming back from fucking high school or whatever at 15 years old. Yeah. And you're slanging a bit of fucking pot or, you know, probably more crazier shit now. And, you know, the local boss at your projects is like, here's your fucking 5K for the week. Thanks for slanging the dope to these shitheads at school. You're like, why the fuck am I going to go work at McDonald's? Like, I actually worked at a place. I facilitated this project. Sure. And it was out of a community center in Scarborough, and there are great kids actually, and most of them, of course, with lower sort of socioeconomic standing. But one of them told me straight up, he was like, because it was just this fun kind of community project, and he was like, thank you so much for like hiring me, because I had two options. I was working at Burger King or I was selling drugs, and it was like, now he just got to fool around with my dumb ass and a couple other kids and facilitators and stuff as well for okay pay. But the point being is like that often times happens, and those are their options. So obviously going for the drug dealer, which is, you end up in jail. But if you don't, you're making fucking shitloads of cash.
I know, and money definitely talks. You know what I mean? Money definitely talks. But those Irish guys are tough fucks, man. Honestly, they are some tough fucks. But I guess the Italians are too. I'm just trying to, I'll be honest. All of my knowledge from this topic comes from movies, which is probably highly, highly skewed and false.
Yeah.
Or over-exaggerated. But
I do think,
it's my life.
Sorry to interrupt. I do think that if you were to just set up like a classic old school fist fight, Irishmen are beating the shit out of those Italians.
Yeah. Oh, it's like this. It's this. Okay, let's just settle it right now. Okay. Fist fight, the Irish. You're
guaranteed.
I don't think you can survive that. I think Russians would be the only ones that could probably rival the Irishmen in a fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Italians, they wouldn't win that fight. But bring in weapons.
Yeah, they'll win that fight for sure.
They'll win that fight.
Yeah.
Like,
no, they're a smart bunch. They know how to like do that crafty shit.
They can fucking do a hit, They can do a hit and spray the Tommy. They can spray the Tommy
and just make you disappear type shit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think and this is, not trying to disrespect our Italian comrades, but it's just like from a physical and genetic perspective, those fucking Irishmen are gigantic people. You know what I mean?
They're huge people.
Yeah, and they're just their whole life has been, and this happens with much of the UK and definitely Scotchmen like I am and Welsh and stuff. You've been fighting the English for 600 years, so all you're doing is getting drunk and fighting people. Like that's the society there, right? Is that England is the overlord, and all these people are just fighting to keep some sort of land that's their own, and they've been in these battles with one another for forever. And not to mention all the like Protestant versus Catholic shit.
Oh yeah, we didn't even bring religion into it. Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. So you heard it here. Would you rather? Would you rather be in the Italian mob? Would you rather be in the Irish mob? Leave a comment. And fuck, man, I want to poll this. All right, let's poll this. Yeah, let's actually make a poll. All right.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know how to do one, but you'll show me.
I'll show you how to do one. It'll get done, and we'll know what the answer is. Now let's get into the You Rotted. Hit it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to You Rotted. You Rotted is the segment where you guys can send us an email to fiercekingz@gmail.com and tell us stories of times where you rotted. You can also tell that story on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're all up on that social media. Stu, I got a good one today. And this is actually from one of our listeners. And I just want to say a huge shout out to Annie for popping this one in. She sent us an email to fiercekingz@gmail.com, which is super, super inspiring. So I'm going to read it out and then let's just get into it, man. So check it out. Hey, Fierce Kingz. I live in the city and there's this amazing mom and pop pizza place that I always eat at. They're not on Uber Eats. They don't have a website or anything like that. You just call and they deliver. So it's that old school vibe, right? Because they're so small and so local, it's usually always the same delivery guy that's bringing the pizza. So I ordered pizza and this guy showed up and handed me the food. Both of my hands were full, so I guess he was just trying to be nice and close the door for me after I was finishing paying. So he reached forward to close the door, but I thought he was going in for a hug. So I wrapped my arms around him while still holding my food. And then I realized that he was trying to do something which I thought was different, which was basically not giving me a loving embrace. So I was like, fuck. Told him Merry Christmas and closed the door. And so basically I'm in this position where I can never order pizza from this place again because it would be so awkward. So I rotted, mostly because the pizza was fire and I can't see this guy again. Shake my head. And that's just a classic. That's just a classic embarrassing moment that the only way that you could, I guess, fix that is you have to confront it.
Yeah. No, it's a dicey one because we've all been there in some way, shape, or form, whether it's this exactly. I'm sure actually tons of people have done the classic miscommunication, handshake, hug,
sure,
kiss, whatever.
Kiss on the cheek rot for sure.
Yeah, whatever. But it's that classic like being like, oh shit, I misinterpreted this whole situation. And now I'm so embarrassed that I can't go back. And probably like homie didn't give a fuck. Maybe he thought it was a little bit strange at first or whatever, but at the end of the day, he's the consumer. So he's just like, as long as the person buying pizzas, they can give me as many fucking hugs as I want.
Sure.
But then the fear of you just looking like a fucking asshat is what makes you not want to go back.
So I have a few things here that I want to discuss. Mm-hmm. One is, first of all, Annie's a female. Mm-hmm. Okay. What if she hugged him and him being just a stereotypical kind, or maybe not stereotypical, but just, the everyday guy, received that hug, and now he's thinking to himself, holy shit, she made a move on me.
Like, she likes me.
She likes me now.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I can't order pizza. And he's saying, I hope she orders pizza. I can't wait to deliver another one. And maybe I'll ask her for her number, even though I have it because it's on this pizza receipt.
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge point of being like, let's cut this shit here. Men are two things: idiots and perverts. So at the end of the day, like this guy probably might have thought that.
He probably went back.
He
probably went back to the shop. Is like, yo, you wouldn't believe what happened. Mm-hmm. And the guys are making the pizza. They're putting their hands are in the dough. They're like, ooh, 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 ooh. Go Tony, go Tony. Yeah. He's like, wait till I deliver that pizza next week, and I'm gonna ask her out.
Yeah, exactly, and that like maybe you know what, if anything, maybe the like burden or whatever on her that she feels is actually more on him, because if he's going like, oh man, when she comes back in, I'm going to, maybe do another kind of hug thing, more longer embrace, and maybe ask her out or this and that. But she just never came back. And then he's like, what did I do?
The one that got away.
The one that got away. She had a fucking Hawaiian, so extra pineapple.
Oh, yeah.
And then she
likes that acidity.
Yeah, she did a hug and leave.
I'm getting all creative now, man. I'm getting all creative. I feel like we could write a fucking movie script right now. Imagine this: boy meets girl delivering pizza. Yeah. Okay? Girl doesn't catch boy feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
And yada, yada, yada. Anyways, he comes back. Instead of with a pizza, he's got a bouquet of flowers.
Right.
Right? And then they order pizza, and the next delivery guy comes because he lost his job.
You took a pizza, my heart. That's what it's called.
Yeah, he took a pizza, my heart.
No,
that's a huge song.
That's a good point. Like, we gotta fucking basically write this shit out.
Now, I guess the problem would be, okay, first of all, she rotted because this is clearly good pizza, right? And you know me, pizza's kind of my kryptonite. Mm-hmm. I fucking love pizza, and I love a good pie. So
and all the ins and outs on how to do a quarter and a third and a half this and a this and that. And from this place gives you this and that place gives you this. This has the best wings, but this has the best breadsticks. The whole nine. You know the gamut of
I'm
fucking
the pizza man. All right. I got them pizzas, man. All right. I should have been a delivery driver, man. I should have.
No, you wouldn't have. No Zaz would make it to the destination.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. On the first go, I just copped 10 Zaz and bounced, and like, fuck, he duped us.
Yeah, they're like, so what is your reputation worth? 10 fucking Zaz. I'll just
$300.
I'll just dummy all 10 in the parking lot on the lakeshore. yeah, fuckers.
And just laugh it out. I bet you there's folks that do get paid in pizza. Look, we're a little low on funds, but I'll give you a margarita every hour on the hour. Okay.
Dude, I know There are people that fucking love pizza. Okay, so here's a great story. There was this one dude, when I was at the University of Windsor for a bit before I moved to Montreal to go to Concordia. And so in my dorm, I was originally not the roommate, I guess, who was supposed to be there didn't show up because I guess he was like, holy shit, I'm moving to Windsor. So good for that guy, right? But it was just like so halfway through, they moved a guy in from another dorm. It wasn't working out, so they put him in with me. And I was like, okay. And he looked like Wario, like the evil Mario.
Yeah,
exactly. And he fucking ate pizza for every meal. And it was a pizza because there was the like, you know how there's like a food court at these type of universities? Sure. And
he was swiping that meal card, eh?
And he had the unlimited one. I remember I ran out in like the first 2 months and then I just like ate gravel or something for the rest of the time. But it was like, he fucking just dummied pizza every meal. And there was a couple times, one time I remember quite clearly, but where he watched me sleep and would eat pizza over me. And so I woke up and I saw him and I freaked out and he was like, oh, you know, blah, blah, don't worry.
What do you mean don't worry?
I was very worried. And then it turned out that he got booted from the other building because he was setting all the like bulletin boards on fire or something. Cause he I don't know, maybe he was probably like the original incel or whatever. Cause this guy was gross. He would only shower every 3 weeks for 6 hours. And say that's good for the 3 weeks, as opposed to doing whatever it is, 15 minutes a day. So it was
not good.
So then he actually ended up getting booted from my room because he made up some story that a bunch of these guys, who I guess were sort of bullying him or something, stole his money. And then they did an investigation in our room. And because normally, it's who do you think is going to steal the money? It's the fucking roommate. And I'm like, obviously not. And he actually I guess he thought I was his only friend or something. But they ended up finding the money in one of his sock drawers or whatever because he hid it. And they were like, you're fucking crazy, man. Why would you make this story up? So he ended up getting booted out. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. I don't even know why I'm telling you the story, to be perfectly honest.
It's pizza. He loved pizza.
Yeah, he loved pizza. But it was just... Yeah, he loved pizza so much that he fucking watched people sleep while dummying a fucking classic Supreme.
You were just snoring and he was dipping. He was just dipping in a nice creamy garlic. He's just that's it, buddy. Night. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
It was the original ASMR, my snoring. I was just sawing logs.
He loved it. Oh, yeah.
And he was going yeah, daddy, do that.
Watch me dip. So you remember this. I love pizza so much. It was my birthday and we went to this bar and then I left the bar a little bit early while everyone was inside still having a good time. And I'll be honest, I was definitely under the influence, but I went into Domino's Pizza and they have those walkout specials. It was $7 for a medium pizza.
Oh, yeah, they're so good.
Yeah,
so the walkout specials are the best.
And it takes 10 minutes, so I got it. Yeah. But then I left and I couldn't bring it into the bar. So I just walked to the side off the main road and it's a residential street. And I just started eating the pizza on someone's front lawn. Just sitting and eating it. But I was so hammered that I actually fell asleep. On the pizza. Yeah, I took a pizza nap. And what's funny is, so I guess I disappeared and everyone left the bar. So our group of friends of 10 people and they walked by me and I woke up to a group of people laughing and they didn't know it was me. And then I wake up and what the fuck? It's Paul. And then I'm like, can I walk with you guys? Sure. And then we just ate the pizza. And again, don't know why I'm telling you this story, but just pizza's a part of my life.
I mean, pizza is just such a substantial part of society.
Have a slice. Sit down, have a slice. Everything's going to be okay.
That's it. That's your horoscope for the day.
And with that, Annie, I just want to say congratulations because you brought it. All right, folks. Well, listen, that is that. That was episode 12 of the Fierce Kingz podcast. Just want to thank you for all of your support. Remember, if you want to stay in touch, just hit us an email at fiercekingz@gmail.com. Please follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, and you know we got them videos popping on YouTube. And with that, Stu, is there anything that you would like to say to the listeners?
You are now not listening to the Fierce